We'd like to reconvene into the finance. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I just wanted to put on the record, we came out of executive session at 6:33, and I'll make a motion to adjourn finance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the October 28th, 2024 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Here.
DeSalvo.
Here.
Hare. Hazeltine. Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 15, 2024 as prepared and submitted by the clerk.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the minutes?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Properties met last Wednesday, October 23rd. We had 2 items that we discussed, improvements at Medina Lake, as well as a trail planner position that the Park District we're going to collaborate with along with Brunswick and Wadsworth to fund a position, but we'll have more information when it comes to Finance Committee in the future.
Okay, thank you. Special legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report, no meeting scheduled.
And emerging technologies, Mrs. Salvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm still waiting to schedule our meeting for either later on this month or the beginning of November. Well, never mind, beginning of November. Thank you.
Request for council action. We have a few for finance. We have 24-219, increased expenditure for Rocco Masonry for the Service Department. 24-220, amend ordinance 7724 regarding US 42 engineering services. 24-221, accept fair market value estimates for West Smith Road water line. And 24-222, renew Medina Municipal Airport lease. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Medina Community Band will present the annual Veterans Day concert at St. Francis Xavier Church on Wednesday, November 6th at 7 p.m. These concerts have been presented each year since the 9/11 2001 attacks, except for the COVID-restricted years. The upcoming events on the square, candlelight walk kickoff, and tree and downtown lighting is scheduled for November 22nd at 7 p.m. at the gazebo. And then the holiday parade of lights, followed by fireworks, will be the following day, November 23rd at 5:30 p.m. On Saturday evening, this past Saturday, I was able to attend a Hindu Heritage Month celebration at the Performing Arts Center. There were between 700 and 750 people there for the dinner and the show, and they were very complimentary, Mr. Shields, for the schools, as well as the city. I shared with them the collaborative effort that it took to build the Performing Arts Center, as well as the rec center, and how we share it and save taxpayer dollars by doing it collaboratively. And I provided them a proclamation as well. Yesterday afternoon, I attended the 50th anniversary for the Medina County Career Center, which was very well attended. And then last but not least, I wanted to bring to your attention our Fire Chief Larry Walters. On Tuesday, October 22nd, at about 10:53 a.m., our fire department responded mutual aid for a fully engulfed house fire in York Township at 7760 Branch Road. The female resident was trapped in the basement, and the fire chief had to enter through the basement window to assist the other safety forces members outside with getting her lifted up because she couldn't pull herself up through the window for them to grab her arms. The fire chief then, once she was extricated, spent some more time trying to locate her dog in the basement until the fire began to encroach on the basement as well. And then the fire chief had to be assisted out that same window. The resident, the fire chief, and several of the safety forces members were taken to Medina Hospital, Cleveland Clinic ER for smoke-related effects. And this is truly a life-saving, and we just want to say well done, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, the budget and five-year financial plan for the city has been completed council's review, and I circulated a copy of the entire thing that council will be discussing as a whole. A reminder, because Election Day is coming up quickly here, the city has a levy on for the LST emergency services. It is a renewal levy, so it is not an increase in the tax. It's just a renewal of the existing tax. Reminder for anybody who doesn't know, the life support team is how the city handles that. It's a partnership between the hospital, the city, and Medina and Montville townships, and this is how we pay for our share of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note for council and the public this evening. You will recall about 9 months ago, we applied for the Ohio Department of Development Brownfield Assessment Grant. This is for the 426 West Liberty site, the former Yosunoco gas station. So after waiting for 9 months, they finally got back to us requesting additional information in this is what they call their cure period. So they request additional documentation. And so they only gave us 15 days to do that. So we sent all that information in last week, and we're waiting to hear back on the approval of that grant. So that's the one that's for $300,000 with $100,000 matching out of the JED fund. Similarly, the same week, we also heard from our Ohio EPA friends on the other grant that we applied for, and for a phase 1. And so right now, we're going to hold off on that one until we hear from the state on the other one, because the other one is bigger and can accomplish more. So we think that this is a good sign from the Ohio Department of Development that they are looking to approve that grant. So we'll keep you posted as we learn more, hopefully maybe in the next week or so. The second item is about a month ago, we rolled out the new Workforce and Talent newsletter. We now have 195 people subscribed to receive that newsletter. And we are able to highlight anywhere between 4 and 5 businesses or companies that have open job opportunities. If there is anybody that's interested in receiving the newsletter, if you go to the city's website on the homepage, www.medinaoh.org, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom on the on that green ribbon there, you'll see the Workforce and Talent newsletter sign up. You can click on that, and then that will give you the form, and Jared is highlighting it on the screen. That gives you the form to sign up, and then also right next to it is our regular city newsletter. So those are the 2 updates that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to remind the public that this Thursday between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. is trick or treat for the city, and joining Lafayette Township as well. Just ask that the public be cautious while they're out driving around, and be aware of the children out trick or treating. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Toth, LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through September, the life support team responded to 2,792 calls for the city of Medina. For all 3 entities, we responded to 4,309. And that's an increase of 353 calls from the same time last year. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. The building department's been extremely busy with commercial and industrial projects. We currently have 6 under construction with 3 close to starting. It's going to be a record year for building permits and contractor registrations. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we held the auction at the city garage this past weekend. It was well attended. Everything sold. We'll find out from the auctioneer in a week or so with respect to the tabulations and have that for finance. On another note, everybody keeps asking, the LEAF program officially kicked off today. I want to thank Jansen too, because they piled all the leaves up at the square, so we had the truck out and they went over. And then Ward 1 didn't have too many leaves, so they are over in the Forest Meadows area, which actually has quite a few piles. So we're just going to keep rotating, and we ask folks to rake the leaves out to the curb, not into the street, and get them as close to the curb as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a lot of activities going on at the rec center. We currently are taking registration for our youth basketball program through October 31st. We already have several hundred kids signed up and a variety of new programs, so I encourage the public to stop in or check us out at medinarec.org. Lastly, our forestry department just wrapped up their fall tree planting. They installed 84 trees throughout town, including 33 trees on the West Smith Road section that was just completed. So that project is wrapped up. Thank you.
Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council may remember a few meetings ago, they approved the project to rehabilitate East Reagan Parkway. That work is scheduled to start this week, tentatively Wednesday or Thursday. East Reagan will remain open during this work, but it will be down to 1 lane during construction. Traffic will be maintained through flaggers and our temporary signals, but public is advised that it is going to be congested. Secondly, we're currently in the public comment period for our US 42 resurfacing and safety improvements project. This is the project that will add bump outs around the square area. Folks are encouraged to visit the city website under the Medina News tab to see an exhibit of what it'll look like and submit any questions or comments they have. The public comment period will extend until November 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick update for on the gallery cancer screenings that we did for our firefighters. Just wanted to let everyone know those screenings were completed last month. We had 100% participation in the gallery screening. And in addition to that, we were able to offer an optional esophageal cancer screening that about probably 30 or 35 of our people, I don't have the exact number, participated in, and they did that with their insurance. The results, some people are talking about getting the results. We won't really know who got what. We set it up so that would be between the firefighters and their doctor. But the program was a success. Just wanted to update the council on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton, Planning Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
And finally, Mr. Fry, Medina TV.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to touch on our last meeting. I discussed some of the new avenues we have of watching programming on Medina TV and also on the internet. And so just wanted to run through those for everyone once again to slow down to make sure everyone has the access to all those. First off, we have Medina TV on Channel 37 on Armstrong Cable, where you can tune into the candidates forum, and one of those is key, Mr. Durham mentioned earlier, is the LST levy that you can watch on Channel 37. The next option you would have now is, of course, on YouTube, which is at City of Medina, all one word. You can go there and watch all of the viewing programs that we have there. You can now also go to Facebook at Medina TV, where we're live streaming here tonight, as well as YouTube. And then also on the city's website, you can click on the Medina TV, which takes you to medinatv.org. You can then click the on-demand or live option there to watch programming. We are now also on Amazon or Fire Stick, and there is the tab for that. You'll see it labeled as the City of Medina, Ohio, Medina TV. And you can go in and watch if you have a Fire Stick or Amazon account. Then we also have the App Store for Apple TV. You can go there and just download the City of Medina app there and be able to watch that as well. And then now you also can go to Roku and look up under the City of Medina, Ohio to find us there, and you can download that if you have a Roku app. So those are just some of the avenues that you can now go to. Residents can tune in if they don't have Armstrong cable or would like to just watch anyway. These are 7 different ways in which they can watch. And as an example, right now, our candidate forums, we are nearing close to 8,000 views on those of people tuning in before they head out to vote this November. So that's been a good turnout of people tuning in to watch those candidate forums to get informed before they go vote here next week. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the hard work on getting all of our information out there and accessible to many people. Now we have confirmation of mayor's appointments. We have one. The Archive Commission, Doug McClure, for a term expiring 12/31/27.
Move to confirm the mayor's appointment.
Second.
Any discussion on the confirmation of the mayor's appointment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the confirmation of mayor's appointment?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
DeSalvo?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Confirmation of council's appointments. If there's no objection, I do all 4 appointments at the same time. Is there any objection? Hearing none, we have the Medina County Planning Commission, Chet Simmons, for a term expiring 12/31/25. The Archive Commission, Skip Barron, for a term expiring 12/31/27. Archive Commission, Beth Biggins Raymer, for a term expiring 12/31/27. And the Archive Commission, Jim Shields, for a term expiring 12/31/27.
Move to confirm council appointments.
Second.
Any discussion on the confirmation of council's appointments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of council's appointments?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
DeSalvo?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Notices, communications, petitions, there's none. Unfinished business, there's none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public are permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council this evening? We have a few out there. Nobody? Okay. I try. Introduction and considerations of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Resolutions 188-24, ordinance 189-24, 190-24, 191-24, 192-24, 193-24, 194-24, 95-24, ordinance 196-24, resolution 197-24, ordinance 198-24, 199-24, and ordinance 200-24.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the motion to suspend the rules?
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
DeSalvo?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Ordinance 187-24.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
I will make a motion that ordinance 187-24 be read by title only and placed before council for first reading this evening and any discussion by council.
Second.
Ordinance 187-24, an ordinance to clarify and unify the codified ordinances of the city of Medina, Ohio by amending various sections of Part 2 Planning and Zoning Code. Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are miscellaneous amendments to the Planning and Zoning Code. I'll go through them briefly as we've been through them a couple of times. Include modifications to the zoning amendment, variance, site plan, and conditional zoning certificate process. Changes to fence requirements, particularly allowing a height exception to be granted by the Planning Commission on corner lots. Adjustment to allow roof porches to project 10 feet into the rear setback, which was proposed due to a number of variances that were granted. Revisions to parking lot lighting requirements to provide more reasonable regulations concerning lighting coverage and height. Changes to multiple sections providing a specific definition for fitness facilities or gyms and to allow them in certain commercial districts and the industrial district. And the creation of general regulations for short-term rentals, permitting them in areas around Uptown Medina. These were reviewed by the Planning Commission on July 11th and recommended for approval. And we also held a public hearing on October 15th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on this first reading? Anything, Paul?
No, it was passed unanimously by the planning commission. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on then, Resolution 18824, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certify them to the county auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a requirement of the budget process under state law.
Any further questions? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Resolution 18824 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 18924, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a revocable use permit with James Sipos and to use and occupy a frame shed located on the city park property known as City Lot 5720, adjacent to resident 1050 Sturbridge Drive.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is that right? Is that name right? Any discussion? I think this is Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the first of two revocable use permits. This one's at 1050 Sturbridge Drive for a 147 square foot shed, which was located partially on city property. The revocable use permit allows the resident to use it indefinitely unless the city requires it to be removed. There was also some discussion at finance regarding incorporating additional language. So in the third sentence of the third paragraph, it states that the shed will be removed when the property is sold unless a separate revocable use permit is granted by the city of Medina to the subsequent property owner. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 18924 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 19024, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a revocable use permit with Dominic P. Sheff III and Gina A. Sheff to use and occupy a frame shed located in a city park property known as City Lot Number 5720, adjacent to the residence and 1044 Sturbridge Drive.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Dutton.
Yes, this is similar to the previous ordinance. I'm just noticing a slight change in section 1, and the paragraph states 1050 Sturbridge Drive. This one is 1044. So that's just a little bit of a change because they're pretty similar ordinances here. Again, this also incorporates the language in the third sentence of the third paragraph, requiring it to be removed when the lot is transferred unless another revocable use permit is granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 19024 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 19124, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional services agreement with Euthenix, Inc. for engineering design services for the South Huntington Street Bridge replacement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council may remember that earlier this year, we were awarded a little over $1.7 million to replace the South Huntington Street Bridge. This money was awarded through ODOT, so we do need to engage an ODOT pre-qualified consultant. We went through the selection process and determined that Euthenix, Inc. was the best option for us, and we recommend that we award this contract to them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 19124 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 19224, an ordinance amending ordinance number 16324 passed September 9, 2024, pertaining to the agreement with IMGIS for Geographic Information Systems GIS services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The previous ordinance the council passed, number 16324, increased the base amount of our agreement with IMGAS by $2,750. That ordinance, however, failed to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement, so this ordinance takes care of that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 192-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 193-24, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a sanitary sewer easement from Legacy Hotel of Medina LLC.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you. The construction of the new Legacy Hotel will require the relocation of the existing sanitary sewer that runs behind the buildings on the west side of South Court Street. In order to do that, we need to get a revised easement, and this what this ordinance accomplishes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 193-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 194-24, an ordinance amending ordinance number 7124 passed April 9th, 2024 relative to the expenditure to Signal Service Company for the Street Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance before you is asking to increase the PO for signal service. On March of 2023, a contractor damaged our traffic signal cabinet at the corner of Liberty and State. A year later, and actually 19 months later, we were able to settle with the insurance company, and we'd like to get this vendor paid. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 194-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 195-24, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one Ventrac tractor 4520N for the street and water departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed in finance, presented, that the Parks Department has one of these units. It's their second one in time. We find ourselves borrowing it all the time, and typically when they need it. This will serve all year long, wintertime with the snow blower and the broom, the parking deck. We talked a little bit about some sidewalk removal at the intersections rather than having a big truck move the snow as it's piled. So it'll serve the city well. And the water department will use the same for repairing water line breaks that are in a tree lawn. Typically, they've been taking a backhoe in there and it does a little bit more damage. It costs a little more to do the restoration. This smaller unit will be more efficient.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 195-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 186-24, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a preliminary engineering agreement between Wheeling and Lake Erie Railway Company and the city of Medina, Ohio pertaining to the Prospect Street Bridge project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city also got an additional $1.7 million to replace the Prospect Street Bridge. That project is currently under design. Part of that design will encroach onto the railroad right-of-way, so we need to work with them and get a permit from them. They require this engineering agreement before they will even start to review the plans.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 196-24 passes 5-0.
Resolution 197-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to file an application for the Cybersecurity Software and Services Grant for the Medina Municipal Court.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Lestuka.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a grant that was opened up by the Ohio State for cybersecurity that we're requesting the council to approve for us. It's up to like $20,000.
Okay, any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Resolution 197-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 198-24, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for the job number 1096, the Reagan Park Cold Storage Building.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance will authorize us to advertise, bid, and award to construct a 40 by 80 cold storage pole building at Reagan Park. This structure will replace a storage building that we lost in 2020. Funding for the project is going to come mostly from insurance money, as well as the balance coming from unanticipated capital. The project was reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission on August 8th of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 198-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 199-24, an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance 183-23, passed November 13th, 2023, relative to the pavilion rental fees for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends two items in our pavilion gazebo rental fee structure. The first part is changing the non-resident corporate rate to non-resident for-profit, so that change will apply to all for-profit companies. The second item is requiring special event insurance for any events over 200 people that occur in the Uptown Park. This is in an effort to help further protect the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 199-24 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 224, an ordinance authorizing the disbursement of a credit from Medical Mutual of Ohio, MMO, pertaining to the 2023 contingent premium refund.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and ordinance. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just to remind council from the finance meeting, the city was trying to drive down our premium renewal fees, and we were able to do that successfully, but another option that they gave us was a rebate of up to 5% if our claims filings versus our premiums paid were within certain percentage levels. We could get 1% up to 5%. This was for the 2023 premiums. And we successfully achieved that through both the work of the city with our wellness program as well as the participation of the employees, which resulted in an excess of $146,000 credit. And we discussed at finance the fact that this was a shared effort by the city and the employees, and the employees should be rewarded for that. So approximately half of that rebate will go to assist with premium reduction payments for those on the city's health care, and the other will reduce the city's premium share. The reason for the emergency clause is we only have a certain number of pay periods left for the rest of this year. So if it's not implemented with the emergency clause, we would not be able to achieve that.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 224 passes 5-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to be brief. I don't think we're going to meet again before Veterans Day is observed. I'd just like to take this moment to remind everybody to hold veterans that served our country over the past 200 and some years. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Secondly, Chief Walters, and to your staff, I'm glad everybody came out safe. It was a heroic thing that, and I don't think the public recognizes enough the times that you men and women put your lives on the line for the residents of our community. So thank you. The other is voting is getting ready to, or if you've not already voted, the deadline's going to be a week from tomorrow. So please get out and vote. And if you can find it in your hearts, please try to support our local schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments?
So I'd like to add my thanks to Chief Walters. I'm glad you're there. I hope I never need you, but I'm glad you're there. And yes, I just want to second what Denny said about getting out there and vote. And if you can, please support our schools. We want to keep our schools at the top of their game so that we can continue to grow our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Salvo. Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief, congratulations, and thank you for your service. Another selfless act by another great city employee. Thank you. Veterans, it's thanks to you and your sacrifices you've given us. It's because of what the veterans have done that allow us to be able to be here today to do what we do. So thank a veteran. And I'll pause. Just get out there and vote, because if you don't vote, you can't bitch.
The only thing I'd like to comment on is that, again, we have two levies that affect our community. We have the school levy, which is very important, and hopefully everybody had an opportunity to watch the joint meeting between the City of Medina and the Medina City School Board to discuss those issues, to get a feel for what we do here on behalf of the community, to understand it. We are always asking for additional funds, and everybody says, well, there's not enough funds to go around. We can't support the various levies because we just can't do it. Now remember that we all are trying to work in the same direction, and the direction is to make our community a better place to live and work, and also to raise a family. So with that, it takes money, unfortunately. I wish things didn't, but things do. And you have to spend money in order to make things happen. And I think we try to do the best we can at allocating those funds to the things that are necessary and the things that help build the community and make it a better place. And hopefully you can recognize that we try to do that. And that also includes the LST levy. That's an important levy. I mean, everybody would like to have, when you need it, you want to make sure the ambulances are there to come to serve you at your property or your house, right? So that's an important levy to take. You can't, say, oh, we really don't need the ambulances to come. I'm not going to need an ambulance. At some time, you'll need an ambulance when you least likely, an event will happen. So you want to make sure that the service is there to provide you with that protection you need, and a service to take you to the hospital, and to make sure it provides you or a loved one the health care needs that you're going to require. So when you go to the voting booth, think of those things, and don't just think, well, it's another levy, I'm just not going to vote for it, because that's the easy way out, and the easy way out is never really the best way. So when you go to vote, think of those things. And again, as Denny says, go to vote, be kind to one another. Everybody has their own opinions, which is great. That's America. But, don't get aggressive, because I think in other areas people get aggressive and it doesn't really work out that well. With that, I think the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.